We also, of course, have the Western Region One Source, which is affiliated with the VA, which offers a lot of just wonderful gatherings and very, veteran-centric activities. We really want to thank and appreciate them and support them. Of course, the Vet Center over on 25 Road, which is there for mental health resources and support for veterans. And then, of course, our really fantastic VA hospital, which has been a fabulous and important part of our community for a long time. So I just want to acknowledge those wonderful resources and say from the bottom of my heart that I want them to be more supported and to receive more funding and more acknowledgement and more awareness in the community. So with that said, I would like to introduce our speaker this evening, and our first speaker. The kind of program that we have planned for everyone is to have a chance to think about this as kind of an empty chair town hall. So I'm not a veteran. Like I said, I'm the daughter of a veteran. And as a community member, I hear things and I hear, I speak to people who are veterans, but I think it's really important to be able to provide an opportunity for us all to hear from each other. And I think the important thing is for members of the community to hear your branch, the branch of the military that you served in, your job in the military, and your hopes and expectations for the future. How you would like to see veterans be supported in our community and in our nation. And so if you have thoughts about that, I welcome you. I welcome everyone in this room to speak on that topic. But we're going to start with Richard P. Hyland. Richard is a veteran of the U.S. Army Infantry and Combat Intelligence. Richard served in Vietnam, 1969-1970. He's a member of Veterans for Peace, VFP, an organization dedicated to ending war. He's got his PhD from the University of California, Berkeley, 1979. He taught history at Rice University, became industrial engineer and led industrial process improvement projects from 1984 to 2022 for public and private corporations in multiple industries in multiple countries worldwide, including the Americas, Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. And I welcome Richard to say a few words about our gathering. So, thank you.
Kate, I think I want you to put your microphone over here, but that's good. Well, thank you. That was quite a greeting from outside. We just barely made it in. I think at least half of you were soaking. I hope you survived. Maybe we'll make it lively enough so we can generate some heat. I'd like to share a few words with you. I've given some thought to this as I have other events in the last 5 months. I'll be like most of you. It's hard to know how to react to what's been happening in our country. Can you all hear me in back? Okay. Good evening. I am speaking as a father and grandfather, as well as veteran and citizen, in remembering the lives and achievements of veterans that have made our lives possible. Two of those occasions are significant today. Memorial Day, last week, for all the fallen in wars serving and protecting our country. D-Day, today, for the 10,000 who died on Normandy's beaches, making possible the eventual liberation of Europe from Nazi fascist tyranny. The latter was a time when we all learned much about balance of power and how easily even educated people, if fearful enough, can lose that balance and lose their freedoms. As you may remember, and of course you certainly do, D-Day was part of World War II, a war in which my father before me, a 23-year-old bomber pilot in the South Pacific, had been shot down and lost most of his squadron by the time I was born, 2 months before D-Day, 81 years ago. He survived and taught me much about service and sacrifice. In that same war, Homer Biggs, another 25-year-old bomber pilot from here in Grand Junction, captain of the football team at Grand Junction High, was shot down and died over France 82 years ago. He was one of 80 young men from Mesa County who lost their lives preserving the freedoms we enjoy today for their children, their grandchildren, and now their great-grandchildren. So why do I share these memories with you? Well, first, it's something that storytelling old men do. And second, a way of reminding ourselves by being here that those freedoms are once again at risk. And telling each other that we are being called on to preserve and protect them for our own children and grandchildren. But we're not at war, you might say. Our country is at peace in a globalized world, coming closer together through technology, scientific advancement, international trade and cooperation, and an increasing awareness of our interdependence, the need to work together to meet and overcome the planetary challenges we face, be they enough food and water for all, pandemics, changes in climate, or world peace. Well, yes, I might have agreed with you 5 months ago. But now, look around. All I hear are tweets from our new leader and his followers that our own prosperity is foremost, not the well-being of others with whom we used to trade and defend against those we call dictators, fascists, communists, and terrorists, all plotting our demise and defeat. For this is a golden age, that leader says, a time to rise up and be great again, as we were 125 years ago in the Gilded Age, when capital was king, when wealth was concentrated in the hands of a few, when women, people of color, and immigrants knew their place in our homes and factories, when a new American empire was emerging that would transform the world. We can do it again, that leader tells us, by reducing our governance, removing our regulations, restricting our diversity, cleansing our history, reforming our education, and deporting our immigrants. It's time to rely only on ourselves and celebrate how great we are. For we are an exceptional people and need no one by our side any longer. No matter how great the challenges, how dark the storms we all face now and will in the years ahead. But all I see is destruction. The systematic dismantling or weakening of our federal government by DOGE, agency by agency. The abrupt firing of tens of thousands of employees, and with it the knowledge and experience they brought to serving us. Day after day, including the VA here, as staffing is cut, clinics close, services disappear, and the veteran suicide rate, already twice the national average, increases even more. All, we are told, in the interest of efficiency, improved service that will make our country great again. But to me, whose industrial engineering career was devoted to improving industrial efficiency and improvements for multiple companies and multiple industries around the world, this rings hollow. One of those projects for the U.S. Department of Defense involved an assessment of productivity at the military base level for all the armed services. So for me, the cost-cutting and layoffs are too random, unfocused, and unsystematic. The time frame far too short. The new leadership far too inexperienced to make it work. Something else is going on. The reality appears to be more ominous. First, creation of a climate of shock and awe to confuse and paralyze. Second, rapid-fire intervention by software engineers targeting constraint reduction, rule breaking, regulation weakening, and removal of institutional restrictions on the concentration of power. One man's power, or at the least, the power of a few. This is an old story, the veteran voices from the past tell me. We fought and died in wars over this, they say. Haven't you learned that trying to achieve greatness by going back to the past is a mythical tale long discredited? Don't be fooled. You need to learn from our times and sacrifices and look to the future, they insist. And so I am. And so can you. Here are a few suggestions for how to respond to what is happening to our country. First, listen to those voices from the past. Learn and remember our history. They are dead, but their wisdom still speaks. 2, find people you can trust. Share your fears and misgivings. Share the knowledge, wisdom you have gained. A hint: seek out kindred spirits, specifically those who have served and sacrificed for something greater than themselves. 3, then working with each other and using that combined wisdom, begin the process of verifying your information sources to see through the lies and disinformation. Do it executive order by executive order, prioritizing the most damaging. Seek truth wherever you can find it. This will be hard and take time, but will be energizing and help avoid despair. Then, 4, take action. Nonviolent action. By standing up, speaking out, challenging the lies and disinformation on behalf of you, your families, and those who have no one to speak for them. 6, then, contact your representatives in local, state, and federal governments. Share what you have learned. Demand accountability. And vote. A hint. Will you do all these things as fellow veterans? Tell them the following when they say, "Thank you for your service." You can best thank me by truly being an American worth fighting for.